Hey, you're listening to Ty Bollinger of CancerTruth.net. You're also listening to Justin and Kate with Extreme Health Radio. These guys are great. Enjoy listening to them. I always do.
Welcome to Extreme Health Radio. Extreme Health Radio.
Where natural solutions to almost every health condition are out there. Join us on our journey to find them.
Now here are your hosts,
Broadcasting from sunny Southern California around the world.
Justin and Kate Stellman.
Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here on another special episode of ExtremeHealthRadio.com. And this is episode number 113. If you're interested in checking out the show notes or anything, it's ExtremeHealthRadio.com/113. And my name is Justin. I'm here with my wife, Kate.
Hello, everybody.
And we're broadcasting worldwide from Southern California. And last I checked, we're in over 100 countries. I think it was like 120 countries.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we do shows 4 days a week on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And if you'd like to follow us on Facebook and be a part of what we're doing and trying to help people and all of that good stuff, you can follow us on Facebook if you'd like it. ExtremeHealthRadio.com/Facebook, and then you just click the like button and you'll be off and running.
That's right. Running right to your health.
Right to your health. And this is episode 113, like I said. And for reference, it is Wednesday, June 12th, 2013 already.
I know. Where does it go?
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
And if you have any questions for us, feel free to email them to us, Justin at ExtremeHealthRadio.com
or Kate at ExtremeHealthRadio.com. I had to jump in there. You always
I always take it over, don't I?
Yeah, you do. I took it back.
So if you'd like to follow us on Facebook, like I said, you can do that, or you can, if you want to support us and you make purchases from Amazon, feel free to go to ExtremeHealthRadio.com/Amazon anytime you make a purchase there, and that will help to support our work. It'll give us a couple bucks, and we'll be able to pay the bills around here.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that. And
keep the show rolling.
We've got some great guests coming up. I'm really excited about today's guest, but we'll introduce Joe Cross in just a moment. But we have Daniel Vitalis coming up, and we're going to be talking about the mystical qualities of water and all the amazing things like the hidden messages in water and all the kind of stuff. He does a whole thing with findaspring.com, so he's a really amazing individual. And then we have Dr. Leonard Caldwell, and he's a prolific natural doctor out of somewhere on the East Coast, I think, Virginia, I think, and he does a lot of work with cancer and helping to heal people. It's really amazing. And then we have Dr. Bob Dowling.
Oh, right.
And he's doing some work, some amazing work in the area of dentistry out of Ecuador, and helping to reverse breast cancers, as well as all kinds of other cancers as well.
Through dental,
yeah.
Wow.
And as well as other homeopathic remedies that he uses, but he's been forced to go to Ecuador. So he's doing some great work, and if they're forcing you out of the country, you're probably doing some good work.
Seriously.
Right? But today we have Joe Cross, and if you guys have not seen the movie Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, you should watch that. You can go to fatsickandnearlydead.com or rebootwithjoe.com, and he has an incredible story. He was over 300 pounds, which is something like 140 kilograms or kilos in Australia, and he lost over 100 pounds doing a 60-day juice fast. Ooh. And he's got all kinds of stuff on his website, rebootwithjoe.com, and he's got like how-to books, recipe books. He's got a whole new thing with a guided reboot that he's doing, as well as a retreat that he's working on. And there's rumors going around that he's working on a new movie.
Oh, rumors are flying?
Rumors are flying. So thanks so much, Joe, for being on the show today.
Hey, guys, it's great to be on the show, and I've heard so much about your success, both yours and Kate's.
Oh.
And it's just great to be here. So thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. And you just said before the show, when we're working out some of these sound issues that we're having, you said you just flew in from London.
I did. I'm in New York City right now. I flew in from London. I touched down about 3 hours ago. I've been in London for the last sort of 5-6 days. I was there setting up the launch that we're doing in the UK in we're launching in the first week of July in the UK. And a week before that, I'd been in Hong Kong, the Philippines, and Jakarta, Indonesia, where we launched the movie down there. So it was all very, very exciting. That rebooting Asia.
Wow.
Rebooting Asia. I love it.
So had those countries not seen the movie as widespread as in America?
So, yeah, absolutely. So what, these days, with the digital content being able to play on so many different platforms, we did have a period of time where the movie was on YouTube for free globally. We had a sort of a 60-day window where we did that just to sort of share it with the world. But apart from that period of time, the movie has launched on television and in some theatres in the United States, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Canada, in Indonesia, in Philippines, and now we have to do the rest of this year. We're doing United Kingdom and Ireland. We're doing Germany and France. We are in discussions with Mexico, Brazil, Chile, and we're going to possibly in the early part of next year do China and Korea.
Wow, that is amazing.
Wow.
So
it's pretty exciting. I mean, what happens is I go to a city like Manila in the Philippines, where I was there for a week, and what we do is we put the movie on in theatres for the week, and we probably had about 3,000 people that would have seen the film or was touched in some way by Reboot during that week in the city. And what that does is that stirs up a lot of press. We did a lot of TV, and then I did like a half-hour TV interview, which was seen by a few million people. That sparks up interest, and now the television networks in the Philippines are keen for the movie to play, and so that's how we sort of get people fired up and get people excited. So it's a lot of work, it's a lot of man hours, it's a lot of hitting the road.
Yeah.
But I'm always reminded by the success of the biggest bands in the world. And when you talk to them, they'll tell you that, before they were big, they hit the road. And hitting the road, there's something to be said about pressing the flesh.
Yeah.
So I've always remembered that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm pressing the flesh.
Well, traveling comes pretty like second nature to any Australian, doesn't it?
Yeah, we are. That's one of the benefits of being on the bottom of the earth is if you want to go anywhere, it's a long way for people to come. That's a benefit, right? The flip side of that is if we want to go anywhere, then we've got to go a long way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So now a lot of Australians go up to England and they do some work there, and a lot of Aussies travel around. It's quite frequent, isn't it?
Yeah. So we're part of the Commonwealth. So the head of state of Australia is the Queen, and so when you're part of the Commonwealth, you get a lot of benefits, like in terms of being able to work and live and all these benefits. It's a depending on how you look at it, it can be a very, very positive thing. And so you get a lot of Australians heading back to what we call the old dart, and back to where we were sent 230, 240 years ago in boats because we were convicts to this Van Diemen's Land.
Yeah,
or New Holland. I forget what it was called back then, but anyway.
So do you still live in Australia, or not as much these days? Or
I spend my time predominantly about 9 months of the year in the Northern Hemisphere and about 3 months in the Southern Hemisphere. And, I spend most of my time between New York and LA.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Well, we're fans of Australia. My mom is Australian, and we have family down near Manly Beach. And
I love Manly. Manly Beach is the last scene in the movie when I'm walking along the beach. I was actually on Manly Beach.
We know this.
I love that. Near Shelley Beach, I think it was.
Yeah, no, I love Shelley Beach. I mean, that's just one of the, beautiful, beautiful parts of Sydney. It's not too warm down there now.
Yeah.
It's winter, but for 8 months of the year, it's what we call God's country, Manly.
Oh, it's amazing. And with Australia, there's a lot of, when we're there, we noticed a lot of juice bars, and there's a lot more, it seems like, popping up, and it seems like it's becoming more popular down in Australia as well, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, everywhere I travel to, I'm obviously on the lookout for the changes and the impacts. And I would say that, even in Manila and Jakarta, the Middle East, there's a lot of places you can get fresh juice. Interestingly enough, while I was in London this last 5-6 days, that's probably the most drought areas, if you want to call it a drought for juice in London. I really felt that London has yet to catch the craze, and that might be because real estate prices are just so expensive there on the high street in London. It might just be that it's priced out a little bit, so maybe you've got to get off the main drags and find it around the corners. But it wasn't easy to come across in London. But certainly in Australia, you don't need to go too far to find a fresh juice.
Yeah, it's really great. There's a couple places on the Corso near Manly that has that, and
right on the corner, any kind of juice. Yeah.
Yeah, and so with London, you just don't see those types of things, or people probably aren't juicing at home. And
well, I think that I think there's a bit of that, but it's interesting. I think what's happened is that this awareness about the fuel that people are putting into their body is really starting to pick up speed. Mm-hmm. And, I don't think it was such a big thing in the 90s. I think it started to percolate in the noughts. And now, in this decade we're in now, I think in my opinion, this is going to be a very big decade for the awareness of prevention and, just lifestyle choices, what you eat, what you drink, how much exercise you do, whether you sleep well, how you manage your stress. Those things, I think they're going to all come to the forefront in this next sort of 7 to 10 years. Well, the 10 years, we're in a decade, right? So 7 to go. Yeah. I think this is going to be a big economic opportunity and boom for the people in the space. I think the tidal wave is coming.
I could not agree more. How many... Or what does the typical week look like for you as far as juicing goes right now in your life, where you're at?
Yeah, a work week or a juice week?
How about both?
Well, predominantly I work. I'm working very hard right now because I never chose to do this. I was like a businessman guy, doing what I do. Right. Which is, invest money to make money and build businesses. And, I made the movie on the back of the main reason was to get well and to get healthy. Losing the weight was one thing, but it was mainly to get off the medication is why I did what I did. And the idea of putting the camera on me was sort of like twofold. Like, number one, it would help me do it. Like, it was it was sort of like my community was the lens. And then the second reason was, hey, if this worked, there could be a lot of people that would want to see this, and maybe they could give them a leg up to try and see if they could, heal their disease and get healthy and get back on track. So that was the idea. So I never really thought, number one, I didn't know if it was going to work. And so I didn't think anything much past the movie. But what's happened is that the opportunity that the fact that this movie's been seen by 6 million people worldwide and growing, and, I think I'll be up to 8 to 9 million by the end of the year, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger. The fact that sort of volume of people are watching the content and reacting to it and being involved and taking steps, there is an economic opportunity, as well as I'm just, I'm humbled by being in a position to be able to have a platform to have an opinion that I don't preach. I never. The day I start preaching, I just tell people around me just to shoot me. I'm not a preacher. What I look at myself is I am two things. I'm a storyteller in our content, and movies and books and TV stuff that we want to do. So I'm a storyteller, and I'm also someone who wants to take complex problems and try and solve them and get the answers and make them simple for people to understand. So I kind of be an interpreter for what's complicated and break it down. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do, and there's an opportunity for that. And given the way that the world is right now, being connected and the awareness thing, that's found me now in this place. So a typical work week for me, there is no typical work week for me. I am all over the place. The last year, for example, I don't think I've been in a spot more than 2 weeks where I haven't had to go to a new town, city spot. it's incredible. Making a new movie, building a business. Like I think my day tomorrow and Friday I'm shooting videos for my Juice app. I'm shooting 6 videos for that. I'm doing a photo shoot in a farmer's market. I'm doing 3 meetings with one with a media company, a big media company in America that wants to talk to me about a possible show. I'm doing another one with a media company about a book. Another one with a radio show opportunity. So I'm all over the place, and then I've got staff meetings, and I've got to do my Facebook and Twitter, social media stuff, and then I get 300 emails at the end of the day that I've got to sit down 4 or 5 hours and respond to, and then I've got to find time in all of that to chill out. I've got to find time to try and get to the gym or go for a walk or do some kind of incidental exercise, and I've then got to also think about what energy am I going to put in my body. So generally, if I'm in New York, it's very, very simple and very easy. I associate New York. Very easy for me to drink juice. I can get it delivered. It's very simple. In fact, as you can imagine with me, everywhere I go, people give me juice. So it's kind of like I don't have a problem getting juice. And I don't juice only that often. I will do that. I was doing it 4 times a year, like 4 times a year for about 4 years. So the movie was shot in 2007. I finished my reboot at the end of 2007. So 2008, 2009, 10, and 11, I probably rebooted 4 times a year for 10 or 15 days each time.
Wow.
And now in 12, I did probably 3 times. And this year so far, I've done 1 15-day and 1 5-day. So it's kind of like, to me, that's the juice only part, right?
Right.
So I don't do that for any other reason than just essentially to get a mental clarity and just enjoy the mental state. And it's just it's an enlightenment sort of thing. You just feel so energetic and be able to focus and concentrate, and you just feel light. You feel agile. You just have a ton of energy, and you sleep really well. And so that's why I do it. I don't generally now. I don't lose a lot of weight or gain a lot of weight in between or on. My weight now predominantly has. I started out. I was about 320 when I decided to do this. I got it down to 310 by the beginning of the movie, and then during the movie, right at the end of the juicing, I'd lost 82 pounds. So I think I was like 230 or something at the end of the juicing part. Wow. And then over the next 3 months of just eating a plant-based diet of fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans, and seeds for another 3 months, I knocked another 18 pounds off. Mm-hmm. So I went down to about 210 for a moment in time. And then I started to eat more higher protein. And during that period of 100 pounds, I did the measurements. I lost 70% of what I lost was fat, and about 30% was muscle.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I did the analytics on it all. And so then I now sit, as of today, actually I only got on the scales in London yesterday. I don't get on the scales that often, but I got on the scales in London. I'm 240 pounds as I sit here today.
That is amazing. In the movie, you talked about how you had tried to do a couple of these cleanses before, and you were determined to make this one stick. What do you think it was that made this one stick for you?
I think that I'd never gone 60 days. So, the fact that I was like doing something for 2 months. I guess the main point was this was my last roll of the dice. This was the last shot.
Yeah.
So I was, it was this one or, I don't know what to do. So I think when you get to a point where you have tried, the way I would look at it is I was outsourcing my health to other people. I was saying, here's some money, fix me. That's what I was doing. Right? That's how I was living.
Right.
And so I made a decision, for 8 years I was doing that. And then on my 40th birthday, I made a decision that I've got to man up here and take some responsibility. And then it took 12 months to after my 40th birthday to actually get the journey happening. So it was 12 months of working out what am I going to do. So I think the fact that I had got rid of businesses, that I got stuff, I really cleared the decks, and it was a commitment that I made when I was 40, but I didn't start till I was 41. So it wasn't something I just jumped into overnight. I planned it. I worked it out. I logically went through why I'm going to do this, what's going to be the plan. I mean, what's not clear in the movie is that I was going to do 2 years on plant food. And if in 2 years' time I was still sick, then I was going to say, well, it's just the luck of the draw that I've got this genetic problem.
Right.
But it was 5 months and I was cured. So, it didn't take 24 months. It only took 5. But I was prepared to eat plant food only for 24. Right?
Wow, that's amazing. And so now you're off of all medication and everything.
Off everything. I don't take, in the 6 years since I got off the medication in March. So what is it now, mate? So it's 5 years and 2 months. Actually, no, it's June, isn't it? So 5 years and 3 months since I had any medication. And during that whole period of time, I had to take 1 course of antibiotics for a tooth infection. But otherwise, I haven't taken any pills, no medications, no nothing. And I've only had the flu once.
It's funny when you go to the doctor, Kate and I will go every now and then, and they'll ask, so what medications are you on? And they just kind of assume that you're on something. And I think that's kind of the
And then
way.
they are bewildered when we say nothing. They're like, what? How's that possible?
They have no way to answer you. It's just, it's wild,
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the default is that that being sick is a natural state as you get older. That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's the default.
Right.
Exactly. Well,
as you and as the three of us know, that ain't the way it has to be.
That's right.
Amen.
All right, we're with Joe Cross, and make sure to check out his website. His website it's recently been renamed to Reboot with Joe. And don't forget to follow him on Facebook and sign up to his newsletter and all that good stuff so you can keep up to date with what he's doing. I just read on his Facebook site today that I think he's going to be in, New Mexico soon. Is that right?
No, I'm in London from July 1 to July 10 is when we launched the movie in London.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'm actually in Austin, Texas next week, and San Francisco next week as well.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah, Austin, Texas. So make sure to follow him on there, and we're going to be right back with Joe Cross right after this break. So rebounding is, in my mind, one of the best ways to detoxify your lymphatic system, and it's the only exercise on earth that will actually detoxify your lymphatic system. And your lymph system is responsible for storing toxins and chemicals and poisons that you're exposed to, and there's no pump for the lymph system. It doesn't have a heart, so you have to move it up and down, and it's filled with millions of one-way valves that get squeezed and pushed and opened and closed every time you jump. And we feel like we've found the best rebounder on the market today. It's the Rolls Royce of rebounding. It's called the Bellicon. And I highly, highly stand behind this product. It's absolutely amazing. If you want to hear what some of our guests said about it, check them out on our store. You can listen to what a lot of our guests have said about rebounding and the Bellicon in particular. So a lot of times people will go on the rebounder with oxygen for cancer if they're really sick. And it's one of the most powerful things you can do to cleanse your body and to exercise every single cell in your body, every organ in your body. It's the only internal organ exercise you could do. And it's absolutely incredible. It also helps to rebuild bone density because of the up and down motion, the G-force that gets applied to every cell of your body, and it tightens and tones your body, and it's just really, really great aerobic exercise. And the Bellicon is made with straps, these bungee cords instead of springs, so it's silent and they have a warranty on it. It's the best rebounder on the market today. So if you're in the market for one, I would highly recommend just saving up and getting the Bellicon, because there's no other rebounder on the market that's better than this thing. I firmly believe that. So if you're interested in it, check it out, extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon. That's B as in boy, ELLICON. And you can learn more about it and watch the videos on that page too. So thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy your rebounder, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
100% 100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
All right, we're having a good time here with Joe Cross from rebootwithjoe.com and fatsickandnearlydead.com, and having a good time talking about juicing and the power of juicing. Isn't it amazing, Kate? All of this could be spawned from just drinking vegetable juice. Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it's not so crazy to me because I'm used to that idea, but to most people, when you first hear about it, I mean, you and I were talking the other day about how I don't think anyone in my family has ever even had a green juice. And I know from watching Joe's film, I mean, on the streets, he's asking people and everybody's making faces and saying comments like, that must taste like your front lawn. And it's just so funny how much we crave it and we love it. And it's just so sad to me that people are missing out on such an easy thing to do for your health.
Oh, I know. It's just amazing how so few people have ever even had a juice like you just said.
It's so sad.
It's amazing. So, Joe, did that kind of surprise you during the filming of Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead that so few people have ever even tried a green juice?
Actually, it didn't, because you got to remember that I hadn't up until when I started making the movie either. Remember, I was coming from the point of view of ignorance and not understanding either. That's, I think, why the movie has worked so well, is because it really is a story of a journey to explore and understand. And so the viewer gets to realize that through my eyes and my journey, and then, of course, onto the others. So it didn't really surprise me. And in fact, I'm a logic guy. I look at things logical. And, you have 5 colors of the fruit and vegetable rainbow. You've got green, purple, red, orange, and yellow. And when you think about those colors, for all of time, it was pretty easy to make a red drink. You could squeeze up grapes, you could take watermelon, you could do that with a green drink, with a red drink. Mm-hmm. It's pretty easy to make a yellow drink. You get pineapple, you could do things. To make a green drink wasn't easy. It's pretty difficult to make a green drink. So it's only really with technology in the sort of modern times that we're able to really extract the green part of a plant to make it, the juice green. And therefore, you go back in time, we look at something green, it was kind of like algae, and that was water that was off, and you don't drink that.
Right.
So I think there's a fair bit of instinct to look at something where a green drink is not something that we look at as going, wow, that looks lovely, amazing, So I think there's a part of that plays into it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any experience with making films prior to this at all?
No, none. Never made a movie, never been in front of a camera, never.
So why did you choose film over doing your so-called experiment and writing a book? What made you actually want to do the film itself?
I think that the idea of a movie, I think that if you're going to do a story of transformation, then capturing it in moving pictures, I think is more powerful than just words on a page and a photo before and after.
Right.
And so I think that was why I chose the idea of movie. And I got lucky. I got very lucky because, when I decided to do the movie in 2006, YouTube was only 1 year old. And there was no Netflix, there was no Hulu, there was no iTunes. I think iTunes existed, but there wasn't like the library or the ability for someone like me to make a movie and get it on there. It was all the studios.
Yeah.
And so, I thought when I made this, look, if 10,000 DVDs could be made and I could get them into some yoga studios on top of mountains somewhere in the world, that could work. And that was kind of the idea. So I didn't really go into this thinking. I mean, if someone had told me before I rolled the camera that, 5 years later, 6 million people would have watched it, I would have, told them they got rocks in their head.
You would have combed your hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wow, it's just such an amazing story. And what's great is that all the people you talk to, and when the camera was not rolling, did some of those people ask you further questions? And did some of those people get transformed
Well, the camera was always rolling, okay, because I shot 550 hours to make 96 minutes of content.
Wow.
So it's a very big job to make a movie. I mean, I've done a lot of things in my life, but I can tell you now, making a movie that people want to stay interested into for 96 minutes. Go and try and make a 5-minute video on YouTube that gets people interested. Just think about you got to then make it for 96 minutes.
Right.
It's a very difficult thing to do, and I had no idea how hard it was going to be. I had no idea. I had no idea what I was doing. So I just shot everything, and then the real job of making a movie happens when you get into the edit room. It's like, okay, we've got all this stuff. Now what do we do? And then we did that, and then all of a sudden, people started ringing up from that I met on the movie, like Phil Staples, a truck driver. Then I went out and shot him. So it's like, well, what are we doing with the first bit? And then it's a very big story to get all of this content down into a coherent message that gets people interested and involved. But I think through hiring some great people and just keeping those cameras rolling, we were able to capture something that truly was unique.
But the least that your crew could have done was been on a juice fast with you. And during the movie, you talk about how they're going to go out and eat some ribs or something.
Yeah. Well, what actually happened is that the cameraman, a guy called Dan Maricino, he actually started just like juicing and eating plants for the whole trip as well. He lost like 15 pounds while he was doing it. Wow. Then everyone was into it. I mean, the whole crew were juicing, and then even the editors and the co-director with me. They've all. I mean, everybody has been affected. But there's no one who has not worked on my film. There's 200, 300 people who end up working on a film. They're all affected by this. I'm not saying everyone's gone out and just juiced only for 5 days or anything, but a lot of people have. I mean, we had the color correct guy went and did a 60-day reboot, and I mean, he lost like 50 pounds just by working on the movie.
That's amazing. So what is going on with Phil Staples and that lady Seong from Iowa with the migraines, and what's going on with both them?
So it's been it's been a few years since we wrapped the film, and the great news about Phil is he's off all medication too, which is excellent.
Nice.
Awesome.
Phil still battles with his weight, and the last time I checked in with him, he had crept up. He hadn't gone back to where he was, but he crept up to around the 300 mark. From I think he was like 429 down to 220, and he's back to the 300. But he was telling me that he sort of hung around mostly 280, 275. But for me, that's a huge win. And I say to him that it's great that you're optimistic about it and that you're not sick. And the question now is that, and this is for me as well and for anyone out there, there's no one magic bullet that you can do that fixes everything. I think that juicing and eating more plants is a part of the solution. It's a big part of the solution, if you ask me, but it's not the solution. And so there's a lot of things that come into play when we talk about getting rid of extra energy, which I like to call it, instead of fat on our body, and also maintaining a very healthy ecosystem in your body to sort of try and achieve optimal health.
Right. Well, I have to say, Joe, after watching that movie, I mean, I don't know who in their right mind wouldn't be inspired. I mean, you just crave juice just watching it. And I remember being really inspired. I did a 3-day, Justin? A 3-day?
Yeah, 3-day.
Oh my gosh. It is so much harder than it looks.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is that, when you juice, it's sort of like we're tricking the body. I mean, I like to think about it that we're playing a trick on the body when we juice. Because the body thinks it's water, because it has the same consistency as water. It's the same process for rapid absorption as when you drink water. It's like bang, straight in. Same with juice, bang, straight in. So there's not a lot of digestion that needs to take place. And when you don't have digestion taking place, your body is getting this message saying, hey, hold on a second, Joe, you're not eating. This isn't good, you're not eating. You need to eat, because if you don't eat, we can die, all our cells, Think about it like 3 trillion cells screaming out saying feed us. Mm-hmm. And so you go through this period where your body is really reacting to the fact that you're not digesting anything. Mm-hmm. And that's a protective mechanism that we have inbuilt to us to remind us to eat. Because if you didn't have that, you could forget to eat and die. Okay?
Right.
So it's actually very normal, very natural to have this adjustment period where it's uncomfortable, irritable, lack of focus. And depending on how poor your diet is, you could suffer incredible withdrawals. If someone's high on caffeine, they're having 5 or 6 cups of coffee a day, if there's nicotine or alcohol or high sugar, high fat, high salt diets, they can have even bigger adjustments. But the great thing about the human body is that once you get past about day 3 or 4, it just changes, everything changes. And the body remembers what to do, like being back on the savannah when we didn't have a lot of food around. So it remembers that where you are and says, okay, we know what to do here. We've been here before. We know that when you're not eating, we just switch over to plan B, which is use up the energy stored, and let's give Joe all this, great energy and focus, and let's get his eyesight and his hearing and his taste and his senses up so that he can go and find food. So you have this enlightenment period of feeling great, which I think is why fasting is a big part of so many religions.
Yes.
So when you were doing your juice fast, your 60-day one, and you're on day 10 or 20 of that, were you at that point hungry at all, or were you completely kind of over?
No, I was never hungry. I was bored, and I had cravings, but never hungry.
Never hungry, so you just craved kind of.
No, you don't get hungry. You just don't get hungry. Like, there's very few people in the world that actually have ever experienced true hunger, Justin. Right? Very few people. You're in a country where there's a lot of malnutrition going on. You're going to get that true hunger, which is a real ache in your belly and your throat, and you're getting true hunger. What I found is that I would be driving along a freeway and I'd see a big sign of a burger and some fries and a soda or chicken wings or a pizza and the cheese dripping off, and I'd look up at that and my mouth would start watering.
Right.
That there's my comfort food, there's my best friend up there on the billboard, and you sort of have this subliminal, and what you do is you realize just how many subliminal messages go to you.
Yeah.
Because when you are doing this, you're so aware and alert to anything that is a smell or a taste or eyesight regarding food. Because remember, your body's actually attuned to try and actually help you find food. So you become more aware about it. So certainly cravings, and then some habitual things like watching television is very difficult because I used to associate watching TV with consuming food.
It's interesting with this whole idea of food and the emotions that go behind food is...
and the social aspect.
And the social aspect. And I feel like there's a little bit of maybe depression going on with people, and they want to fill that void in their life with, a cheeseburger or a piece of pizza. It seems like that's kind of running rampant, especially in modern societies, like in probably Sydney and all the big cities and where people are running around. And why do you think people have this really, really strong emotional connection to food?
I think that there is a lot. I think that's a multi-pronged problem, and I think there's a lot of reasons. There's no sort of one reason. I think that what happens is that emotions are connected to feelings, and you get feelings when you do things with food. For example, if you're like for me, I remember that when I was growing up, my dad was a doctor, and so on a Friday night, we would always go to McDonald's as a family, and all the kids would get in the car, Mum would drive us there, we'd meet Dad, he'd come from the hospital, and we'd have McDonald's as a family. We'd have a big night out on a Friday night, we'd all go to McDonald's, and that was every Friday night.
Right.
Now, that was a lot of fun. Everyone going out, you're not having to sit home and have the chops or the sausage or the roast beef, and you can go and have McDonald's, and that means you can have burgers, you can have fries, you have a Coke, you get a sundae, you go and play on the swings, you see other people. It's an experience.
Right,
you get to order. When you're 8 or 7 and you're able to order, you feel like a grown-up. So you have this whole idea of this entertainment that's going on, a connection to food. And I haven't got anything against McDonald's, by the way. I mean, people hear me talk when I don't have anything against these big corporations, because I've got a whole theory on that, which we can talk to later if you want to get into it. But just sticking on your point about the emotion. So I know that for me, the emotion of going to one of these quick serve restaurants, if I go into McDonald's, I have a very different experience to going into something that, say, for example, in America, that I've never been into, like a Taco Bell I've never been into. So I walk into a Taco Bell, I'd have no connection with that whatsoever. So it's like irrelevant to me. But going into McDonald's brings these emotional feelings that I have, grown up with. So, we have this, I go back to everything, there's a reason for everything, right? So if you and I are running along the savannah and we are looking for food, we come across a honey pot, Well, hold on. I mean, a honey pot's like gold on the savannah, because you've got all this high, dense, caloric energy of this honey, this huge sugar.
Wow.
That's like gold out there, right? So you would look around, you'd see a rock, you'd see a mountain, you'd see a tree, and I can tell you right now, that would imprint into your mind for the next 20 years of your life. So whenever you're walking in that area, you'd see those things, and that would connect with the emotion of that honey, which would be a survival thing to say, hey, I feel like honey now, it's around here somewhere, look, there it is, I remember being here. So when I get off the airport, in Hong Kong, I feel like dumplings. When I get off the airport in Paris, I feel like chocolate croissants. When I get off the airport in New York, I feel like juice. So wherever I go, there's a connection to me now with respect to my history of food. So and people, when they understand this, they can then feel it themselves. They can have this emotional realization that there's this connection between a place and a thought in their background. Most of it's unconscious. They don't even realize they're doing it. Subconscious, I should say, not unconscious.
Then you got bigger problems.
Exactly. Subconscious, and they don't realize they're even doing it. So, that's... I remember a lady who emailed me on my Facebook page, put a post up there and said, I'm great on my reboot, but my biggest problem is at 10 to 3 every day. That's when I have the biggest problem. And she went on to say that's when she goes to pick up her kids from school. Now, her history was she'd go to Dunkin' Donuts, she'd pick up a coffee and a donut, and donuts for the kids, pick up the kids from school. That was her habitual routine. So when she was doing her reboot for those 15 days or 20 days, I forget how long she was doing, the hardest part was during the week, 10 to 3, driving past the Dunkin' Donuts place and not going in, because that's when she felt that she was missing out. That's when she was doing it tough.
That's just amazing. It's so interesting how there's that connection with emotions and food. And when we come back from the break, I want to ask you about some of your different reboots, because you have different lengths of reboots, and you have the whole program and PDF guides on your website and all kinds of great stuff. So don't forget to follow Joe on Facebook. Sign up to his newsletter. Check out his website, rebootwithjoe.com, if you're interested at all in any of this stuff. And we'll be right back with Joe Cross after this break. So there's no real way to avoid toxins or chemicals in our daily life. It seems like we're exposed to them no matter what we do in our lives, from paint fumes to mercury fillings, coal-fired plants, perfumes, soaps, off-gassing of carpets in our houses, and genetically modified foods, and foods that are sprayed with pesticides and herbicides, the xenoestrogens in plastics and car exhaust, secondhand smoke, even your dry cleaning and laundry detergents, even your mattresses have chemicals inside them that outgas. So getting these toxins and chemicals and poisons out of your bloodstream and out of your fat cells is going to be really critical moving forward in our society, because it seems like every year there's more and more chemicals that keep becoming introduced with new products in the market. So I would consider getting one of these far infrared saunas. We've got a great sauna developed by Phil Wilson, and I've known about his work for many, many years, and I'm so proud to be offering his sauna on our website. And he's been in this business since 1975. And this sauna is really great because it slows the aging process. It helps with weight loss and burning calories. I think you can burn like 600 calories in 15 or 20 minutes, and it helps to cleanse the skin. It improves your sleep and helps to prevent illnesses like flus and colds, as well as energizing the body. And it's great for improving blood circulation and promoting cellular renewal, as well as increasing metabolism. And and inducing profuse sweating, and it's really, really great. And the great thing is too is you don't produce any lactic acid, so you can sweat without producing any of this lactic acid that you would normally produce if you lifted weights or went for a big long run. So if you're interested in this, you can check it out, extremehealthradio.com/sauna. It's great because it sets up in about 2 to 5 minutes, and it's portable and it's super easy to clean. It's got low electromagnetic field radiation coming off of it, and it produces energy and heat inside the sauna evenly. It's great machine. So if you're interested in sweating like this for only 15 minutes a day, it's great. It requires 0 preheating. It's got a 1-year warranty, and Phil Wilson is a great guy. We're so proud to be offering his saunas on our website. So if you're interested, check it out, extremehealthradio.com/sauna, or you could check it out in our store, and it's $990 plus $25 shipping. And that's really a good deal because many of the saunas out there, you can check them out. They're in the thousands of dollars, $2,000 to $4,000. So this is great. You can buy it through PayPal. You don't even need a PayPal account. It's 100% secure. So consider doing this if you're interested in living a long, healthy, disease-free life. So check it out, extremehealthradio.com/sauna.
All free shows, all the time on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
All right, we're having a great time here with Joe Cross from rebootwithjoe.com, and we've got our little dog in the studio here, a little 10-pound wiener dog. And
who's thinking about doing a juice fast?
We should put her on a juice fast.
She'd waste away. She's only 10 pounds.
See how she goes on a vegetable juice side. But we're having a good time, and make sure to check out his Facebook site. That is Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead.
And also, there's a Joe Cross page, and also I'm at Joe the Juicer on Twitter.
That's right. You got a Twitter, and we'll link all these different accounts up on the show page, which is extremehealthradio.com/113 if you're interested in following Joe and everything he's got going on there. And Joe, we had a couple listener questions I wanted to ask you real quick. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see. Stella writes in from New York, and she says she wants to know if you juice every day, and I think you answered that a little while ago, right?
Yeah, what I do is I tend to try and live on a diet of eating about 40% of my calories coming from plants, about 30% from animal, and 30% from processed. That's kind of what I'm trying to do right now. That's that's not the future. That's what I'm experimenting with that right now. And on that basis, the way I try to do that, and I'm not talking about portion size, I'm talking about the net amount of calories, right? And so that's the way I do that is that's like a breakfast and a lunch is a plant-based, and then a meal at night is kind of like just a normal meal. And that's how I sort of try and live in the modern-day world with my traveling, with everything I do, and that seems to work. So juicing for me, today I've already had two juices. I had a fruit-based juice in London this morning when I got up, a watermelon, pineapple, and ginger. And then I've had a green juice here since I landed in New York from around the corner at a place called Juice Press. It's called a green meal, and I think it's got parsley and spinach and celery, cucumber, some apple, and some spirulina in it.
Oh.
And she also wanted to know what your favorite herb or plant was.
My favorite plant, I'd say, would be, I like celery. I think celery is a good-looking plant. I mean, it's lean, it's green, it's got a bit of hair on top, it's not like bald. And
gets all the ladies.
And also, the thing I like about celery is it's transparent, so it's not hiding anything. So I like celery.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's a great question.
So we have another question here from Hayden, and she says, let me just kind of dilute this down a little bit. There's quite a bit. She talks about emotional issues when she starts doing juice fasting and irritability, lightheaded, dizziness, and things like that. And then she wanted to do another extended juice fast while she's at work. And she says, I've done so many juice fasts over the last 5 years, and I started and failed, but still received benefit even though I made it 1 or 2 or 3 days. And then she says, here's my challenge. How does one work a 40-hour-a-week job and maintain a juice fast? I simply cannot do it, as I have too many responsibilities in my daily life, which I have to be able to think and have attention to do a juice fast takes a lot of time and energy during the day. And then, so she's just trying to balance.
Okay, so I can cover that one pretty easily.
Yeah.
First thing is most people who fail at doing this fail because they did not do the preparation that's required to get into it in the first place properly. So the idea of switching straight from the average Western diet, which is high in processed foods, to straight into juicing is not a good idea. We need to do this transition period of getting a tremendous amount of plant fiber into our bodies first to clear the pipes, to get the system ready. And so what I would say is that what's her first name?
Hayden.
So I'd say to Hayden is that if she made a commitment to do, say, 5 days of just eating fruits and vegetables, okay, making big salads and cooking up some great veggies and having a fruit salad and maybe incorporating 1 or 2 juices on top of that. She did 5 days of that. So she said no to processed and she said no to animal, no to coffee, no to alcohol, no to anything other than plants. She did 5 days of that, okay? She is then going to be ready on day 6 to enter into the game plan of just drinking juice. Now, what I would try and ask her to do is to time day 6 to happen on a day off, like a weekend. So, you know, day 6 could be on a Saturday and a Sunday. So day 7's a Sunday. So now she's going into her 3rd day of juice, is a Monday. She's had plenty of time to prepare and make a bunch of juice that she can put in a bag, so it's easy. I mean, I did 60 days of making a movie, working 15-hour days, driving every mile across the country. If I can do that on juice, anyone can do anything on juice. So it's not about will you have enough energy and all that. That's the easy part. The hard part is getting to overdrive. So it's getting through 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th gear to get to overdrive. That's the challenge. So that's going to take a concerted effort, planning, and preparation to get into overdrive. And generally, most people are there within 4 to 5 days of juice only.
So what do you think about doing things like enemas and colonics maybe to prepare for a juice fast? Do you think those are good?
Look, I don't think they're bad. I don't. What I sort of tend to think on this is a personal choice. You know, I've heard both sides of the argument on this, and you know, I don't sort of have I don't come down one way or the other, because I think there's two sides and they both have pretty good points. A lot of people I talk to say you're just getting rid of a lot of the good fauna and in your bowel, and you're clearing out good bacteria that you need. Other people say that this is, you know, absolutely essential. Now, I'm not a doctor or a scientist, so I don't actually have the data or the research to actually say one way or the other. So my view would be is that if it makes you more comfortable and you feel more, better about it, then I'd say, do it. But generally speaking, I did colonics. I've done them. I think I've got a lot of benefit out of them. But I'm also somewhere I'm not like saying that anyone who does this has to go and get a colonic. I don't want to put a oh my God, you've got to. And Joe Cross says you go get and do this. Not at all.
Right.
And so now, after someone does a reboot, what kinds of things should they eat as far as after? Let's say they've been doing it for, like you did it for 60 days, and then you ate a green apple. Is there a strategy for how people wean off the juice as well?
Yeah, and once again, we use logic. So you think about in our history of being human, whenever we had these periods where there was no chewing going on, unless it was a self-induced fast like myself, generally speaking, it was because there was no food around. Mm-hmm. So therefore, think about what sort of food would be around after a period like that. And the answer, of course, is plant food was the food that was around. So what we want to make sure we put into our body is lots of plant food. And so what I tend to suggest to people to do is to eat, fruit and vegetables. If they want to cook them, absolutely fine. They want to steam them, and to slowly chew the food, like really make sure they chew it. Really chew it like they never chewed before.
Okay.
Because on that basis, they're kind of masticating the food a lot. Or use a blender to make smoothies up. Use a machine to help with that masticating process. Bring soups in and sort of just slowly think that they've got to get their digestive system back up and track. And and honestly, 2 days, 3 days of that should be fine, where you can then start to bring in animal protein if they wish, or breads and so on, and grains.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like a real good thing. And so with your rebooting programs, you have on your website a whole tab for the different programs, and you have a bunch of different plans
Yes.
there, and they all last for, like, one is for 3 days and then all the way up to 15-day plus, right?
Yeah, so we have these plans that we've tried to make it easy for people who are interested in doing a reboot. Mm-hmm. And, there's... I think we've got all different ones. We've even got guided reboots where for 15 days or 30 days you can actually have a nutritionist help you through and take you through it. That's a paid one. People pay $10 a day for that. And, you certainly don't have to do that, but people are finding when they're part of a community, when they're connected, when they've got that access to the expert, that it really does help them to achieve and get through. So that's why we've developed those, and they've been very successful. But if anyone just wants to do this on their own, then what we do is we provide all the information, we provide all the recipes, all the questions, there's Q&A, there's everything there for them to do. Now, when people say, Joe, how long should I go for? There's no one glove that fits all. What I generally suggest to people is try doing something in a short period of time just to see how you like it. Now, if you really said, Joe, well, what's the best amount of time you think to do it? I would love to see people try and aim to do something around the 10-day mark.
Okay.
Now, I know that's a long time for some people, but I think that when you go in there with a commitment of 10 days, you're really going to start to see those benefits around day 6, 7, 8, 9, and you're just going to feel fantastic. You're going to be on fire. You're going to want to run through brick walls. and that... you don't get that after 3 days. You get benefit, don't get me wrong. 3 days is great, and people feel terrific, but you're not even scratching the surface of how you're going to feel after day 10.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, on your website with the under the reboot tab, you have a 10-day PDF. I think it's like 20 pages, and it's got, just looking here, breakfast recipes and all kinds of...
yeah, and we also have reboots where you eat as well. So, the definition of a reboot, when someone says, Joe, what's a reboot? The definition of a reboot really is that you are committing to eat plants, fruits and vegetables. Sorry, not nuts and beans, only fruits and vegetables. You're committing to eating only fruits and vegetables. So that's the definition of a reboot. So you can do an eating reboot and juicing, or you can do a juice-only reboot. And, for a lot of people, particularly kids and teenagers, we recommend definitely eating and juicing.
And so you're working on a retreat as well, you mentioned?
Oh, we've got a treat. We've got a thing called Camp Reboot. It's happening late July and early August. Oh. And we're going to have a couple hundred people who are going to come for 6 days and juice with me up in just a couple of hours outside of New York.
Okay.
It's at the Omega Institute. And that's going to be, what we're doing is, we're a young company, we're a startup, so I'm just sort of like saying, okay, people want to do this, we'll try and do it and see how it works.
Right.
Sure.
So it's almost like I'm learning here. I certainly, as I said to you earlier in our interview, I didn't expect to see myself doing this. So I'm trying to work out what does the reboot member, the team member, or the customer, or the fan, what do they want? So let's try and create things that can help them, that can be of benefit, that can really help them live a happier, longer, and healthier life.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Nothing must feel better than knowing you're helping people.
Yeah, that's such a blessing.
Yeah, well, I think that you've got to have, John Mackey, the CEO of Whole Foods, told me the whole idea about conscious capital, and conscious capital is pretty important. That's where you are trying to be successful in business, but you're also making sure that your success is being balanced out with the community, with people, with the environment, with the stakeholders, with suppliers, with all sorts of factors that go into a corporation.
Right.
So I'm trying to do something very conscious here that we're being prudent and we try to be profitable. Otherwise I can't keep doing it. But we're also trying to deliver a service and provide inspiration, education, and above all, entertainment to inspire people to maybe, if they want, just dial up those fruit and veggies into their life, just to get a bit more on board. Because, I'm not a believer in this all or nothing, and a reboot is not a juice diet. A reboot is a period of time where you choose to only take the energy from plants on board. And after you've done that, you can then move into taking energy from animals, if you wish, and processed, if you wish.
Oh, I love it. I love the fact that you're helping people, and you said that there is a possibility of a new movie coming out. But
yeah, well, I've been shooting a new movie, and it takes a long time to make a movie, and I guess we're probably halfway through, probably on the shoot side of things. We're probably 80% there on the shoot, and then we've been doing a lot of editing and stuff. So all up, I'd say we're probably 3/4 of the way through, and it'll probably come out now. We've got a few exciting things which we're working on with regard to television and new movies and all sorts of stuff. So I'm just trying to work out with everything we're doing where will it sit in the schedule for the next 6-12 months. When do I release all of these things? So I think I'd like to release something on January 1 for the New Year, New You idea. So that'll either be a TV series or that'll be when I say series, like a sort of an episode, 3 or 4 episode thing, or it'll be a movie. I'm just trying to work that out now, and we're trying to be agile and move and work out what our fans are going to want.
I love these unexpected things. I mean, I'm a hairdresser and Justin's a computer guy. We kind of fell into this too. It's kind of funny when you don't expect your life to go this route and then you end up just loving it,
It's great.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
100%. Like, we've got to, I think that a lot of people are frightened of change.
Yeah.
But I have a view that change equals opportunity. So I think you just got to, when you see a change, you just got to look at it as an upside, positive, and take it as opportunity. And so
I love it.
In the change that I've made, I've just seen it as opportunity, and I'll just go for it and see where this takes me.
I love it. And so the real question is, are you missing any of the rugby and cricket over in Sydney right now?
I get a very good internet service where I can watch my rugby league and I can follow my sport and I can get all of that. So I don't feel too much I'm missing. I mean, I do miss going to my games. I mean, I'm a rugby league man down in Australia, so I miss going to the footy. But you know what? It is cold and wet a lot of those times, and so I'm happy to be in the Northern Hemisphere where the sun is shining, so it's okay.
Right on.
I love it. We've been over there 1,000 times, and we've never made it over to Bondi Beach. We always just stay in near Manly.
Oh, I love Bondi too. I love all of Australia. I mean, and actually, to be honest, I love wherever I am in the world. I was in Manila the other day, as I said, and it was amazing being there, and I was in Jakarta, and you can always find great parts about this fabulous planet that we live on, and there's always I find very happy, smiling people that are only too happy to sort of show you where they live or what they do, and it's a great world we live in, and I'm very lucky to have the position of I get to travel and meet and see all these people, so I'm a very fortunate boy.
Yeah, what a blessing. And
awesome,
now,
Joe.
As we're closing out, are your parents following you? Are they starting to juice more?
Yeah, they are. My mum and dad are very, they've done a number of reboots. In fact, they're coming to New York on the weekend. I'm going to take them around New York on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm sure that they'll be hitting the juice bars, and they're fit and healthy, which I'm lucky about that, and they're both in their 70s, so that's pretty good.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, they were worried about you on the movie. But.
Oh, they were. Don't worry about that. There's a lot of people worried about me beforehand, and that's the crazy thing, people say they're going on holidays to Vegas and they go and sit at a buffet for 2 weeks, and everyone goes, that's fine, but drink the juice for 2 weeks, well, that can't be good. It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're all kind of crazy, though.
Well, thanks so much, Joe, for being on and taking time out of your day. And I know it's about probably 6 o'clock there and probably time to get some sleep after that long flight. So
yeah, actually, I've got to stay up, otherwise I'll jet lag. So I'll soldier on and go and deal with 300 or 400 emails. But it's been great to talk to you, Justin, and you, Kate.
Thank you,
congratulations with what you're doing. Great job, and juice on.
Juice on.
So, Mr. Joe Cross.
Mr. Joe Cross, I love that. I now know that his favorite plant would be a celery.
I know, I like that. That was really
That was pretty good.
He's got a little bit of hair on his head. It's lean. It's green.
Apparently, celery's getting all the ladies.
Getting all the ladies.
It's a sexy vegetable.
It's clear. What did they say it was?
It's
clear?
transparent.
It's transparent. Yeah.
All right.
Gosh, that's kind of I never would have. In 3 lifetimes, I never would have thought that.
I know. I love those random questions that you just don't know how people are going to ask or how they're going to go when they're asked.
Right.
And he just really knew it was celery.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
He's so cool.
Yeah, if you guys have not had a chance to get down to Manly Beach in Australia, my uncle lives just right on the other side there by, what is it, Freshwater?
Freshwater.
And it's a beautiful beach, and it's at the very end of that movie, and I don't know, Australia is just a great place.
That was cool watching the end of that film. We're both like, oh, wait, we know that place.
We've been there.
Well, you've been there a bunch more than me, and I've only been, 3 or 4 times, and I feel like it could be a second home. And
yeah.
I loved how we were telling him about, I'm sure he knows this, but yeah, juice bars are just popping up all over the place.
Yeah. Right on the Corso, there's that little street there next to the church with the juice bar.
That's right. If anybody listening lives in Manly,
love it.
They know what we're talking about. I love how on his site with rebootwithjoe.com, he has Find a Juice Bar.
Oh, really?
Kind of how we use the Find a Spring idea, and you can plug in a city or a zip code, and it brings up a map even, puts little flags, and then also gives you addresses and phone numbers.
Really?
Because I'm headed out of town tomorrow, and I typed in my location, and I saw all these things pop up, and what a great tool.
That is so cool.
Really neat tool.
Wow.
So thanks to Joe. His site is amazing. Please, everybody, check it out. And he's just an all-around cool dude.
Yeah, it makes me miss Australia.
I know.
I love it. Yeah, and you can also sign up to his newsletter, too. He's got a great newsletter there, and you can join him on Facebook. I think under Facebook, he's called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead.
Is that what it is on Facebook?
Yeah, so join his community there as well as Twitter. And
I'm excited for his new movie now.
I know. He kind of just references it and doesn't really say too much.
Maybe he's keeping it a little under wraps.
He's being very sly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, it's cool. If you look at his transition, or I should say transformation, just a really great story.
Yeah.
And something in the movie that I really liked is what that lady from Iowa said that had the migraines. Her name was Siong.
Uh-huh.
And during the time where she was in the kitchen and she was doing a juice, she said, I'm not going for skinny, I'm just going for healthy.
I remember that.
And that was such a small little thing. But I feel like that there's so much truth that's so deep, because a lot of people, there's a whole forum on Joe's site, and a lot of people are talking about how I've hit a plateau, with my juicing and weight loss and things. But having that mindset that you're doing it for your health, and you're doing it for, to be around with your kids, like he talked about in the movie, all that stuff is way more important than shrinking a couple waist sizes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we love supporting Joe and his work, and all the work that he's doing, just helping as many people as you can,
I'm so excited we got him on. That's great. A lot of people are really going to dig that interview.
You can't be unsuccessful when your main goal is just to help people.
Right.
Right.
Like he was saying. It's true. When that's your main vision, and just being able to, I can't believe his story, really, of where he's coming. He just, he said it in this interview today that if he had 10,000 people or DVDs or whatever that was that
10,000 DVDs.
Little did he know 6 million later. You just don't see that kind of thing coming, and that's what makes it such a neat success story, especially with his heart and where he's coming from.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So make sure to visit rebootwithjoe.com and follow him on Facebook and Twitter, all that good stuff. And I just want to thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode. And we've got lots of great episodes. Always 3 times a week we do interviews, and then we do a 4th show with just Kate and I called Free for All Friday. So if you're interested in any of that, we talk about alternative healing and natural healing and all kinds of just really amazing stuff. So check out the rest of our shows. And what else? Is there any loose ends that we need to...
I feel like there's always something.
Can't think of anything right now.
Okay.
But
I'm thinking about juice. I'm going to go make one.
Are you going to make one?
Yeah.
What kind are you going to make?
Oh, let's see. Carrot, apple, celery, spinach, cucumber, ginger. I stick a little vitamin C powder in it.
Okay.
We're out of beets, I think. Shoot.
Okay, yeah.
And then whatever else I got. No, romaine and parsley.
Did you say ginger? We'll do that.
I did. Oh, yeah.
Ginger.
That adds a little kick.
A little kick. Mm-hmm. We love it. Yeah,
this one's for you, Joe.
This one's for you. We'll toast to you. So thanks so much, everyone. And really a great way, if you guys want to help us out in any way, if you could check out our store. We're going to be actually relaunching the store on our site soon, probably within the next month or so or 2 months. But we've got a lot of great products on our store, and we sell blenders and dehydrators and rebounders. Whey protein powders and
water filtration system.
Yeah, raw vegan protein powders, water filtration, all kinds of really great stuff. So if you're interested in any of that kind of stuff, like lifestyle products, check out our store. We'll make a little commission. That helps to keep everything for free. And Maggie is...
Maggie's attacking my arm.
She's attacking your arm.
I was itching my leg and she thought I was playing with her. Ow.
She wants to play. So thank you so much, everyone, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.